What is up, everybody? It's the chairman of the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And today is a very special day as we are live from our first ever con with the DFPN live here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, as a part of CapeCon. A big day for us in the council members. It is awesome to be here to answer some questions and to just talk about some general pop culture and why it tastes. Really, if you have questions about making indie comic books, I'm pretty darn good and knowledgeable on indie comic books. So with that, I want to introduce my fellow council members on the table. I'll let you go first.
Oh, what up, everybody? It's your homie Mac, aka your boy. If you've been rocking with my man, the chairman over on DFPN, you probably see me on a couple of shows, Eat the Cake Anime and The Smoke Pit. I am what you would call a Padawan when it comes to a lot of the comic stuff that the Jedi Master, the chairman is, right? But I'm always here. It's cool being around these guys, teaching me a little bit more because all I do is just pretty much follow everything TMNT when it comes to comics. So they're kind of bringing me into the loop on a lot of the other things. So good to be here. Good to support my guy here. And like he said, big day for us here at DFPN. First actual live show at a con for USDN. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, bro.
Same. And I will echo that. It's an honor to be a council member at the first live USDN show. I am bred like a king, made as Kelvin Cayley, otherwise known as Black Mac. And I really nerd out about wrestling. That is my specialty. I am a stone cold nerd. If you
pick up
what I'm putting down. You pick that up. but I like to equate wrestling with a lot of things, and one of the things that got me into comics was wrestling. I was a big Hurricane Helms fan, and Hurricane Helms was a big fan of DC Comics' Green Lantern, which is where he based his gimmick off of, right? And just following him got me into comics, and it led me down this crazy path that I've been on for a while. But yeah, so it's an honor and a pleasure to be on. I'm very proud to be here this weekend. This is a very dope, incredible weekend. And I'm glad that this is the show that is bringing us home because it's time to have some fun. Let's
get after it, man. So it's been a lot nicer to have a whole lot more people in here. But, sir, in the back, you got any questions about indie comics or comics in general?
What's your guys' favorite series?
Favorite series?
Ooh, that's a good one. For me, it's going to be some James Tynion and Boom Studios, Something is Killing the Children. I can't recommend that book enough, especially since it was just announced that they're going to be getting a TV movie or just a movie in general. I think they're getting an animated series, and I think that's huge for the comic book world as a whole, as an independent comic is getting a TV series. So that's my answer.
Yep, and like I said, I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic fan, and that's more from being a kid watching the cartoon growing up and then figuring out, it's based on a comic series and not just a random thing. So I will say it was eye-opening learning about the Turtles in the 80s on the cartoon and then reading the comics. You're like, oh, this is way different, right? This is some real stuff. But as I got older, you start to appreciate that more, right? I will say it's kind of, you get to a point where you just have to accept, I don't know if you've seen the newest Turtle movie, the Mutant Mayhem. My youngest liked it. I was looking at it like, it's not for me getting a new generation of Turtle fans, but I'm excited. Obviously, Lash Ronin did real well for them. They packaged that up, movie in the making from all the reports I'm seeing. So R-rated should be a good time for me. Not sure if I'm going to take my 8-year-old to see it, but that's my favorite series there.
Me to see it
if it comes out while we're around.
For me, I am a big Infinity Gauntlet saga person. Just the rise of Thanos and the story they told with him and how he became the Mad Titan and everything that came from him getting the gems and what that led to. It's one of those things. I was okay with the Infinity Saga and the MCU, but they missed out on a lot of great stuff that they could have drawn from. One being how Thanos' relationship with death could have played out. That I feel like they could have.
That's
They could have.
definitely a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, it was
there.
definitely. It still presented itself, and they never really pulled the trigger on it. But I feel like they could have made that a very, very great story. Not mad at what they told, because it's one of the best things that they've done, obviously. But that whole saga, like when they first announced Thanos was coming, I was like first in line. Take my money. I can camp out here. We don't have to go anywhere. I love it. But that would be my answer, is the Infinity series.
So we got a couple of questions here in the chat, and Caitlin wants to know, what comic would you recommend for a new Red Hood fan? Caitlin, I can't speak a whole lot about Red Hood. I do know that the current run of the Red Hood was cut short by something that was said by the author of that comic book. So DC did put a stop to it, which was a shame, because there is a lot of potential there for that book. But as a fan who I focus a lot more on indie comics and not necessarily DC or Marvel, it's hard for me to put a recommendation out there for you on that. And I wish I could give you a better answer than that. And then we got some Cast in the Spotlight fellas in here, and they want to know how we would rank the 4 turtles from favorite to least. I'll let you go with that one first.
That's a tough one.
It's not, but it's kind of corny. So, and I'll tell you why. Me and my brothers would watch it growing up, and we would always act like the TV. It would piss my parents off, right? So I would be Leonardo. My older brother would be Michelangelo. And then the younger brother, like, he would just, like, these are the 2 turtles you got to pick from, right? Like, you're either Raph or Donatello. Most of the time, he was Donatello. But as I got older, like, you're looking at it, Leo is still my favorite. I don't care what anybody says. I know it's the corny answer because he's all normal, the Splinter's favorite and everything. I will say that as a kid, Raph was kind of towards the end because I didn't really like his weapon. Mm-hmm. But as I got older and you read the comics and you see the relationship between him and Leo, like, there are some days it's like 1A, 1B. Yeah, like, I can understand Raph's point at that point in life. Mikey has moved up as well since. Is it spoiler alert?
Nah.
No.
You know, if I talk Last Ronin, you know, if you haven't, like, by now,
holding back. We're giving spoilers.
Last Ronin, all the other turtles are dead. There's one left. Everybody's like, who could it be? It's Michelangelo. And seeing him evolve from the party, you know, as he was portrayed in cartoons, like, most people would still, like, see him in any kind of media on TV. They never really get into how serious the turtles get. So even the Michael Bay movies, they still kind of have Mikey being the youngest, obviously 14, 15, being a kid. Seeing him as the Last Ronin and seeing that he's about that action, I'm like, okay, Mikey, you know. And then Donnie, you know, no love lost. Like, I had to put somebody at 4, Donnie. So I got Leo, Raph, Mike, and Donnie as my lineup.
Best to worst?
Best to worst.
Oh, okay. Ralph, because Ralph was about that action at all times.
About them hands.
Ralph, and I feel like, so me and my brother kind of have that relationship to where, like, I'm younger than he is, but you know, I kind of see myself, like, in that leadership role sometimes, and he'd be like, "Man, hey, listen, I'm the big brother. Chill out." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro, I got it. I got it. I've been out here. I've been grinding. I can get it. So Ralph, I always kind of related to, because of me and my older brother. So Ralph, Leo's obviously second. Because of that, he is the leader in the leadership role, but he does give the turtles a lot of grace at times. You know what I mean? Like, he lets them do their thing and tries not to overstep his bounds as a leader, which I think is an underrated quality. Yeah, it really is. Without the Last Ronin, I have to put Donatello in 3rd place. Just because his brains is the glue that keeps everybody together.
True.
He's constantly thinking of ways to get them better or make them better. But I think that's a very underrated, underappreciated quality that he has. and then Mikey. Not because he is the least, but yeah, it's just there's a lot more depth to the other people for me without going into the last runner. But the last runner, he actually is like Mikey might be that dude.
Oh yeah.
Mikey might just be
Yeah,
that dude.
he's
So,
that guy.
Shout out to our bro Rob in the chat who said, Raph, Leo, Mike, and Donnie. Oh, great. I don't think there's a wrong answer to this, but I'm going to go Raph just simply because the dude was a complete underrated badass in the comic book. Then I'll go Mikey because Last Run is probably my favorite Ninja Turtles of all time.
Mhm.
Then I'm going to go Leo and Donnie, and that's not a knock on any of the Ninja Turtles because I'm a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles. So
I will give Donatello his respects. If you're playing the NES Ninja Turtle game, save
Bro.
Donnie for last.
yes,
Bro.
Because his
Yes.
bow staff is a cheat code out there. All right, so
100%.
if we're picking him in the NES,
Yes.
Donnie is my guy, right?
Yes,
100%.
you want that standoff.
Yes.
Great questions. Keep the questions coming in the chat, but we'll turn a little bit more of attention toward a little bit of indie comics and kind of what I've been doing here lately within the world of indie comics until we get more questions.
Mhm.
So many months ago, I was kind of like at a loss in direction of what I wanted to do with the United States Department of Nerds. And I got an email. And it was like, hey, could I come on your podcast and discuss my new comic book? I was like, hell yeah. I need something to do. Let's do that. So we get that set up. And then it kind of become a snowball effect after that, where I was getting emails or just DMs left and right, basically going, hey, can I come on the podcast? Can I come on the podcast and talk about my work? So it's really been like smooth, like literally not even 30 minutes ago, I was answering an email for another indie creator wanting to come on the United States Department of Nerds and discuss their upcoming comic book that they're going to be kicking off on Kickstarter. Well, it's already live on Kickstarter, but they want to come on and talk about it to see if we can't get them pushed over the line and get them funded, which is a really cool thing that I get to do, is help creators get their comic book to the next level and get it, promote it, and fund it. That way they can bring that comic book to the masses of people at cons just like this one. So I've been really thankful in that aspect to be able to get to do that and to bring something different to the world of comic books, where those creators, those indie creators, aren't getting the love that the big name creators do get at Marvel and DC and Image. So that has been a really fun thing that I've gotten to do. I've also gotten to just 2 weeks ago, I interviewed the creator and writer and director of ZombieCon, the volume 1, which is a indie movie that is really fun. I got to watch that movie. I got to interview, what's his name? No, it's Aaron Anya, who also is his wife. And then can't remember his first name, but his last name is Valley. This is going to bother me, so give me a second. Let me look up his name because I don't want to give y'all a bad gouge, and they deserve all the love they can get.
Yeah, that's all good. Did have a comment come through, a question. Have you read Once in Future from, looks like, Carrie and Gillen?
Ooh,
No,
I have to look into it.
No, that sounds like.
Kevin
if you can give us a premise of what that is.
So
CJ jumped in the chat.
Kyle Valley.
Yeah,
Kyle Valley is his name.
Okay.
He wrote, directed, did everything related to ZombieCon Volume 1 with his wife, Erin Anya. Great movie. Cannot recommend it enough to y'all to check that movie out. I think you can rent it for 99 cents on Amazon.
Nice. I got a question for you. When did you get into comics? And if there's a fan out there, a younger fan out there that has never experienced like the joy of comics, what direction would you point them in to say, like, this is the way we should go to get you into comics and become a comic fan?
So it would really, at the end of the day, I think I'd want to know what exactly they are interested in.
Okay.
Are they interested in like action, or are they interested in more of a like a journey comic, like Saga or something like that? But it's really going to depend what their interest is. There's always an indie comic out there for everybody, whether it's from Image Comics or Boom Studios or Dark Horse Studios, one of those guys. There's literally something out there for every interest. And that's what's so cool about the indie comics. It's not just focused on the superhero aspect of comic book storytelling like DC and Marvel might be.
Right. I guess that kind of answers the question for me, because I was thinking, like, how did I really, and I kind of introduced it earlier, like I got into it because of wrestling. But for a long time, I didn't know what I actually liked about comics. Maybe it was the darkness of some of them. Maybe it was the triumph. Like for a long time, until I got really into Marvel and dove down Marvel, like I was just like, it's a comic, I'm gonna read it. You know what I mean? Like I had stacks and stacks, and then like didn't know how to really sort them out because I was just reading comics. And then once I got fixated on it, that's why, like, if there's a new fan, like how do you just let the fan determine what they like?
I would say you just got to know the person. It's almost the same thing with anime, right? People think anime, and one, they're either thinking it's just, Dragon Ball Z stuff or big robot mechs, or for those that know about the kind with tentacles and all that, they'd be like, you're weird. You know what I'm saying? The hentai and stuff. But there's an anime for everything. You got sport themes anime, right? You got your horror animes, you got your historical ones like your Vinland sagas and things like that. So it just depends. Like if you talk to a person and get to know their interests, like guarantee you I can point them to an anime and be like, check this out, right? Give this a shot. And then they could just follow that trail. Like you don't have to be, I don't want to say like the people that are now, like I love anime fans. I love that anime is bringing people in, but a lot of people are just like jumping on now saying Demon Slayer is the greatest anime ever, and I'm just like, that's cool. It's an amazing anime, but let's expand your horizons a bit. So comics are the same way. You look at it like Jeff said. I'm not really into X-Men and all that stuff. Can I get into comics? Hey, check this out. Here's some horror comic books, right? Here's some more realistic type things like Walking Dead, graphic novel type stuff.
Amazing.
So there's other things like people look at that and think it's just a show. No, it's based
off a comic book,
and that's how you can get people.
Amazing. So back to the question from Draw Guy, I guess I have not read Once and Future from Kieran Gillen, and that's because it was before I got back into reading comic books. So I didn't get back into reading comic books till pretty much 2022, I think, and then it's just been uphill for me since then, getting back into them. And it all started because my daughter wanted to stop by the comic book shop and see what's there. And then as we were walking around, I started seeing titles from when I was a kid that brought back good memories for me. And I was like, I want to feel that again. So I started reading Spawn again, and it just, I've been back in the saddle, so to speak, once again. So it's been really cool.
Nice.
But I will check out Once and Future because that's really up my alley from Boom Studios. And it was a shame to see that the owner recently sold Boom Studios, but I think it's a positive direction for those guys because the owner is looking to do new and different things. And he's a great guy who brought us a lot of great comic books during his time at Boom Studios. So I'm wishing him the best of luck.
I got a question real quick. A lot of people have gravitated, or would you think that more people have gravitated towards checking out comics and stuff with the popularity of MCU, a lot of things like that? Like people go watch the movie and probably want to know more. Because I will say, I noticed the boom of like YouTube channels that sit down and break down, like movies are coming up and they're just like, here's a backstory of this character. It wasn't just
the MCU coming on board. It did see a big push, but what really gave comic books another big push was when COVID hit, because people are going to comic book shops for board games and that kind of stuff. Just something to entertain since they have to be stuck in the house and really can't go anywhere.
Right.
So really those two things, the birth of the MCU really pushed people in. But again, they were just buying the stuff related to the more popular titles out there related to whatever that MCU movie was focusing on, which is cool. There's nothing against that. It's just a whole lot more world out there to discover when it comes to comic books. So So anybody else in the chat, y'all keep those questions coming. Yes, sir.
So you all, you were talking about indie comics and all that. So of course, one of the big things with indies is like it gets kind of difficult to find some of that stuff because it gets like buried under a bunch of stuff, don't have as much marketing and all that. So what do you guys think is like, how do you all go about finding like new series and all that to read?
That's a great question.
So for me, it's New Comic Book Day. I hit my LCS on Wednesday, and I scroll, and if I see something that catches my interest, I give it a shot. Some of my favorite comic books out there were just something that I found on the shelf randomly and was just like, this looks interesting. Let me read this, and fell in love with it. And so that's how I did it. Dollar bins are a great place to start. If you're strapped for cash, just hit the dollar bin. Almost every local comic shop in your area has a dollar bin. I mean, just walking around the con here, every booth with comic books has a dollar bin. And those are always a great place to start. And for a bargain at that, a buck for a comic book, that's granted the prices now. I think the only place that really hasn't changed the price that much is the original Spawn series from Image. I think they're still $2.99. But everybody else, I know some of the DC books are like $7.99 now or $6.99. So it's absolutely ridiculous how expensive they're getting. But again, they're still telling good stories, so people are still going to buy it because it is from DC or it is from Marvel. But for a lot, the Image Comics, Boom Studios, their prices are remaining the same and they're remaining steady. So those are still attainable and affordable.
Yeah, that's a great question. Shout out to CapeCon too, because this is one of the rare cons that I see where comic books are still a big focus. Normally, when you go to Comic Cons, it's different stuff, and the comic book isn't really as prevalent. But here, I've seen them all over the space. So, shout out to them for that, because that is a great look to the comics, and shout out to Jeff too, because you do some very underrated work, man. Working with the indie comics, working on the Kickstarter. I found a couple of comics just watching his show. So if you do, man, subscribe to United States Department of Nerds. It is very much, you will find some great comics that come through there and have great stories, and their Kickstarter campaigns offer a lot. So that's great work too.
So we got CJ in the chat with a question. Do you have a starter recommendation for the major genres: action, superhero, drama, romance, comedy? Let's see, man.
First of all, let me just say, CJ, I know you're driving home, bro. Like,
You better not be.
we love
That's
the
too much
support.
typing, my guy.
Unless you got a voice trans, you know what I'm saying, bro? Get where you need to get to, my guy.
So this is going to be, I can give a list of books that I'm currently reading. Let me pull up my list because it's a list.
While you look for one, I'm a rattle off one off the top of my head.
Go for it.
I like the superhero genre because there's a little bit of everything integrated into it, right? Especially if you're starting.
You better be safe, CJ.
I would recommend going to starting with Marvel. If you're into the big stuff, because there's a lot of love triangles in there that are high key funny.
Yeah.
That are high key funny. And there's a lot of pairings in there that are very interesting beyond what you see on the movie screen. There's a lot of pairings that happen in the comics. If I had to point anywhere, I'd start with the Uncanny X-Men, because that just branches off into a lot of different
soap opera with superpowers.
Yes.
Yes.
So we'll get this started. I have I'll start with 30 Days of Night, Fallen Sun, which is the follow-up to the movie 30 Days of Night. It was a great read, and it's just a bloody mess, just like the movie was. For the kiddos, Adventure Time has a comic book. Fantastic read, really fun. Also, Rick and Morty for the teenagers who are into Rick and Morty.
My son reads those.
Although I will say I would get in on Rick and Morty now, because in December, the comic book is coming to an end. I don't know if a new studio will pick it up yet, but I do know for a fact that Adventure Time on Ani Press will be coming to an end in December. Let's see here. Find another good one. Be Not Afraid is another horror book. It's similar to The Omen or Children of the Corn, and just another really, really good book. Blood and Thunder is really fun. So if you're into sci-fi about a bounty hunter with a gun that talks, and she's trying to recapture escaped convicts from a planet that is a prison. That's a really fun one, and the gun in that book is hilarious. Catacombs of Torment, which is from Ani Press and EC Comics. It's basically an anthology of different horror stories from different authors and artists. That's a fun one. Creep Show is still going around if you're a fan of the Creep Show. Cul-de-sac. Oh, man, this book is... So all those people living in the burbs, that's something for you. That's a horror book. I do read a lot of horror. But from DC, I will say the new DCKO has been good. DC's Zatanna has a new run right now going on. There's all the Spawns are still going on. So you can literally, if you're into Spawn, they have something for everybody right now. Escape is a really good one. It's about a war, but the people are animals. So it's literally like an animal trying to escape during like the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's kind of cool.
As you talking about them, I'm adding them because.
And then this one's really good. Everything Dead and Dying. So it's basically the Oregon Trail with zombies, and it's absolutely awesome.
I like that premise.
You had me at zombies.
And then Exquisite Corpses again by James Tinian. Basically how this story is going, James Tinian and the creators of the comic book are literally playing a board game to determine which of their main characters will die in the next issue of the comic book. It's really dope. James Tinian and Michael Walsh, fantastic on that book. Let's see. I just did a big backlog of comic books here recently, so I got a lot of stuff going on right here. Hello Darkness, which is an anthology horror series from Boom Studios. It's also a lot of stuff in there by R.L. Stine. It's really based off his work, and it's really, really good. Anything from Ghost Machine, talking like Rook Exodus. What else is in there? Geiger. Hornsby and Halo. Junkyard Joe. Anything, and I do mean anything, from Ghost Machine. Jeff Johns, who's a brilliant writer who worked on Batman back in the day, is the main writer over there. It's his promotion basically with Ghost Machine. Phenomenal stuff coming from those guys over there. If you're a big fan of Invincible, although the comic book may not still be going, you can still get the compendiums for that. But currently, Battle Beast, who's one of everybody's favorite characters from that series, has his own comic book run going on right now.
Nice.
And that one has been really good and really fun. Another one from Boom Studios, if you're into like witch hunting and monster hunting and stuff like that, it's by Tini Howard. It's called A Marian Heretic. And it's basically about a nun who hunts witches and monsters. And it's been a very fun series. And it's only one issue out right now, so you can literally go pick up issue 1 and get ready for issue 2. So, and that's just an absolutely fun one.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good
what's
round.
up, Rob?
What up, Rob?
His question: how do you handle it when you find a comic you find interesting, but a few mags in you find out that it's been discontinued? Do you finish the run or do you just let it go?
So if I can find it, I will buy it. And that's just me. I can't just leave it incomplete. I don't think I've run into a situation like that recently where I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Because 9 times out of 10, you can go to the publisher's website and get the rest of the series. Or you can just do what I like to do, and that's just drive around and go to different comic book shops and hunt it the old-fashioned way, which is always a lot of fun because you may discover something you've never seen before.
Yeah, I would just say, and this is just me, like if you pick up a magazine, a comic, and it's good, and you see online that they stopped it, I wouldn't stop buying it because you're still supporting the creator. You're still
Yeah.
supporting those people
Yeah.
that did that work. And, nowadays you get enough people on board, you make enough noise, people will pick it back up. They'll find another publisher or somebody to support them and get
Yeah.
it out there. I mean,
I've been seeing a lot of that lately.
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with anything out there, man. Like if you get enough fans on board, people passionate about it. And me, I'm a sucker for supporting, man. Somebody took this chance to draw this and put their idea, put it out there for the masses. And yeah, it's been discontinued, but if there's still issues out there, I combine support and promote things like that. Like I'm 10 toes down for it. It's no different than in, anime. You have manga that gets discontinued and you're just like, well,
All
why
the
finish
time.
watching it? Like,
Yeah.
why finish reading it?
Yeah.
Because like the author wants to complete its story, his story, her
Yeah.
story. So go give them that respect to finish that story.
I'm still looking
Yeah.
for a few issues of Banana Fish myself for my daughter. So,
Yep.
But if I can give one more recommendation, it's a book by Aubrey Sitterson. It's called Free Planet. It is basically about a planet that goes to war to get its freedom. They win their freedom, but this is more about what it takes to maintain and keep that freedom now that you have it. And I think it's like 7 or 8 issues deep right now, but it has been a phenomenal read. And I cannot recommend that one enough. But if you want to talk about some real indie type of comic books, let me pull up my YouTube studio real quick. And we can go through some of the interviews that I have done. It's the most recent one I did was Monday, literally just before we left here. I did Powerscape with a guy named Donald Thomas Capello. Very fun comic book set in, I forgot what century it is set in, but basically the world has come to an end as we know it. In not every major city, but a lot of the bigger major cities now live in these bubbles. And those cities are run by an alien power source that we now must compete in a game of Powerscape to earn the energy cores to power our planet. So it is something really, really cool, something different and unique that's out there for you. If you just Google Powerscape comic book, I'm sure you'll find it, or you can go to Kickstarter and find it that way. That one was really fun. Let's see what else. Memoirs of the Morbid, Orange Edition. So basically this is like an anthology, very similar to Creepshow or something like that. And it's got a little bit of something for everybody. So I think it's 3 or 4 stories in there. And before each story, there's a segment with a guy similar to the Creep from Creepshow, who kind of gives you a funny like lead into the comic book. And it's really fun. And let's see here. Quickwire #1 is about to come out from Apogee Comics. That is another really good one. It won't be on a Kickstarter. You'll be able to go to Apogee's website and just order it straight from their website. And they have a bunch of like indie superheroes. So that one's a lot of fun as well. The Plague, which I know you fell in love with, takes place in New Orleans after basically something similar to COVID happens. And the big farm is trying to clean up a mess. And one of their security guards basically got in their way. So they basically take him out into the woods and they plan to kill him. However, the swamp gives him another chance to basically correct the wrong. So that one's really cool.
That's dope.
And that one's still active on Kickstarter right now. So you can still get in on that one and support it. And then I know one of your favorites, Dark Pink.
Yep.
That one,
It's not what you guys think.
it's really not. So
He pointed at me. Your favorite, Dark Pink. I'm just, hey.
it is not that dark pink. I will promise you. So basically, it's about a rich kid from the UK who basically kind of gets into a little bit of trouble, and then her parents move them to New York, and then she finishes school there. And then her parents are like, okay, you're through college. We're going to take you this vacation. And they go down to New Orleans. Something happens to her parents in New Orleans. And now she basically sells what she has, packs everything up, and she goes to New Orleans and she basically starts a private investigation firm to basically find her parents. It's a really fun one. It's done by Christopher Ford.
Mhm.
And it's got some amazing, amazing artists on that book. You can still get in on Kickstarter on that one and do a late pledge. But have all been just like really phenomenal books. Let's see. In Our Dreams Awake, issue number 3 is basically about a guy who goes to sleep in one world and wakes up in another world. It is written by 2 different writers and drawn by 2 different artists. So one world's a futuristic cyberpunk era type, and the other one is like the Renaissance age.
Mhm.
So he'll literally go to sleep in one, wake up in the other one, and both of them they're both very different.
Oh, like Moon Knight.
No, it's the same guy.
Yeah,
No
like
different
Moon Knight.
personalities. His personality is still kind of the same. He looks a little different in each world, but he's still the same dude.
Okay.
And another one of my favorites was Shock-Headed Peter by E.B. Coogan and Jessica Silvetti. That one is a volume 2 of a it's not a comic book. It's a
Graphic novel.
graphic novel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brain fart there. Apologies. But that one's a lot of fun. It's basically an old German. What are those called? Folktale. Thank you. My man in the back. And they basically modernized it and brought it into a new and different setting. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And I can't recommend that one enough too. I think it just funded as well. And I think I've done this year alone, I have done 20 Kickstarters interviews, and I just got emailed today for one more. So the business is booming, and I'm here to support it in whatever way I can. And giving them a spotlight is basically what the United States Department of Nerds has become. And I will hopefully continue to do it until I can't, because it's a lot of fun helping those guys out and putting a spotlight on them.
Mhm.
Shades of Beyond, The Wall of Sleep.
Can I shout out an indie creator real
Yes.
quick? Which I found them at a Comic-Con about 10 years back almost.
Mhm.
And it's Sigma Comics. And all of their comics that they write are about animal, like superheroes who save animals.
Mhm.
Not humans, just animals. But
Oh, okay.
100% of their not 100%, about 80% of their proceeds
Mhm.
that they get from their Kickstarter campaigns, they donate it to charities that help out animals.
Oh no, that's a good shout out right there. I like that.
Yes, they're really dope. And they work with people like Mike Barron. If you know, he's behind the Flash and Punisher. Yeah, so they work with a couple of big name writers, but very, very. I want to make sure I give them that spotlight because I've been following them for a while. Yeah, I've been following them for a while, and they are a very dope comic studio and with a great cause.
So I got another question here.
Sigma Comics.
So how did you learn about these indie comics, and how do you recommend others learn of indie comics? So for me, it was basically through Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and you just do a quick search on those platforms for indie comics. And for me, like I said earlier, I was kind of having an identity crisis at USDN where I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I kind of knew I wanted to do. So I was doing a lot of like weekly comic books, like, hey, this is what I'm reading and stuff like that. And one day I was like, I want to get into interviewing comic creators with no intent of really focusing on indie comics specifically. It just kind of happened that way. And it all started with one guy who gave me a chance to interview him and work with him and give him ideas as well on his comic. And it's really cool because one of the ideas I gave him was one of his biggest sellers for that campaign. So it's one of my prouder moments of doing this is giving him that idea. And him running with it and it becoming one of his bigger sellers. So that's how I learn about them. And like I was saying earlier, I do promote monthly, like a few times a month. I have a calendar and I post my calendar onto a bunch of indie Facebook groups, on Instagram, on Blue Sky. And I'll follow a lot of indie creators and I'll follow a lot of mainstream creators as well. And I get emails from them. Like I said, DMs. They literally come into me and go, hey, can we come on your podcast and talk about our new project? And I've not had one where I was just like, no, that one's not my style. I always try to give everyone a shot and a chance. So that's how I did it.
Before USDM, mine was the old fashioned way, right? Going to a comic shop, seeing it, looking very interested in it, or going around a con and seeing somebody pushing something I didn't know, asking them what it was about and finding it. So,
yeah, 100%. Just like anything else, just visit your comic shop. And then
Yeah.
the people who work in there are knowledgeable. And like we were talking about earlier, you'll be looking around, browsing. They'll come up, hey, what are you into?
Yep.
You let them know, and they'll be like, hey, I got just a thing, and point you in that direction. So I do have a question. And I know he was talking about identity crisis and stuff like that. I love that he picked up the comics and stuff. Like when somebody finds their passion and goes after it, it's cool.
yeah, it's dope.
But I don't know if you've seen the logo for my man's podcast, Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. You see the landscape, you see where Star Wars is at.
Yes.
As a property. A lot of ups and downs, more
Here we
downs
go.
than ups recently.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Now
What
we're
do
about to have fun.
what do you think, or what direction we give you? Hey, Disney hit you up, Jeff. We're fumbling the ball here.
Yeah, they are.
How do we
It
get
ain't a we fumbling. That you
Yeah.
already fumbled that ball.
fourth quarter, 2-minute warning? We need a touchdown, 2-point conversion to win. How do we get back in the game, Jeff? What's the move we make?
You pull your heads out of your asses. You go to the books. Yes, I said the books and or the comic books, and you go to the Old Republic,
Got some
Amen.
head
or you
nods
go
and
to
stuff,
the New
yeah.
Republic,
Amen.
because both of them, both comic book and written book, are some of the best reads you will ever read. And they are some of the best Star Wars stories out there. The War of the Nihil is one of the best stories you will read from the Old Republic. So that is what you do. That Disney, if you're listening, that's how you unfuck Star Wars.
So, like, I agree, knowing some of the Old Republic stuff, obviously playing Knights of the Old Republic, you start seeing, there's Revan, there's Malik, and all this other stuff. You're like, I would love to see this, right?
Yeah.
But like this new generation who's just stuck on the Skywalker stuff. Like Skywalker's a big name, and now you're introducing people who
Yeah.
aren't Skywalker and stuff. You're like, hey, who are these guys?
So if you
How
want
do
to
you promote that
continue,
to a new audience?
if you want to continue the Skywalker stuff, you literally just go to the books. Luke did. So they never tapped into Luke's full power potential.
Mm.
This guy controlled a whole armada while sitting at his house. Didn't even leave his house. He just entered into his deep state and literally controlled a whole war, a whole armada, a fleet of starships using his psychic abilities.
Yeah.
Untapped. The dude was not to be reckoned with in the books and in the comic books. Not the hermit that was living on some planet drinking blue milk from a walrus.
Yeah.
That is not Luke Skywalker.
Follow on. Everybody sees Luke, right? And they see Mark Hamill. Obviously, he don't look like Luke anymore. Are you okay? Obviously, I don't know if you're a fan of this
Absolutely
whole new
recast
CGI
him.
thing. Okay, cool.
Recast him.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill himself says if you want to continue the Star Wars saga with the Skywalker family, he's like, recast me. It's okay. The dude
Get
has
who?
made millions. And again,
Right.
you're
Get
not
Bucky.
wrong. Bucky looks
Yeah.
just like a young Mark Hamill.
Mm.
And again, Mark Hamill has said, if you need to recast
Right.
Luke, recast
Feel
Luke as a
free.
younger actor. He's on board.
Yeah.
So, and CJ hit it on the head. Dark Empire was really good. And if they resurrect Palpatine one more time, I will lose my shit.
Super clones, right?
And there's nothing wrong
You
with
just gotta have Palpatine.
nothing wrong with Grogu. I love that it's a new and fresh story with the Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it after fumbling season 3 with the movie. So I'm actually excited about that, and that one may actually get me out of my house and into a movie theater.
Good Star Wars movie. That's all it takes.
Well, that ain't it.
Rise of Skywalker didn't get you. I'm playing. Let's not do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, outside of all right. So what are your thoughts on when they try to do something new, aka Acolyte? I don't want to say so much Book of Boba Fett, but they start trying to do these kind of side stories. What do you feel about those?
There's a lot of really good stories out there, books and comic book wise, about Boba Fett that they could have used. The Acolyte could have been the perfect start for an Old Republic series. And I don't think the ball was fumbled. I think there were certain aspects of pop culture, or culture in general, that was kind of shoved down our throat on that one.
Yeah.
That people didn't want.
Yeah.
It's one
That's
of those,
fair.
if you stick to, like, if they wanted to create an Old Republic story, they could have easily went to just before Palpatine came to power and him killing, what's his name? Shit. Brain farting. His master. They could have went back before that and showed us kind of like the rise of the Sith and how we became with the rule of 2 and that kind of stuff. I think that would have been great. And Rob just hit it too. The way to bring it back into focus as of right now is to restart the Jedi Academy. Start with the new Jedi Order. Bring in Mara Jade as Luke's hidden wife and his child. That is a perfect way to do it. I think if you're going to do that one, you recast Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Plagueis. Yeah,
Plagueis. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
I was brain farting on that one too. But no, Rob hit it right on the head. And yeah, and Palpatine's been resurrected more than once, but it's cool how the resurrection of him took place, and all started with Luke's hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool for when it got cut off in Cloud City.
Yep. Crazy they found it. I thought it would have fell down that hatch.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. But there's a lot of really great Skywalker stories out there that could be told by Disney if they would read the damn source material.
Here's the issue with that, right?
They don't know how to read.
No, not
There's
necessarily.
picture books, there's comic books. So
Not necessarily they don't know how to read. Is Disney is still stuck in, we have to tailor this for the kids. And in order to really truly bring out the nature that is in the Old Republic, you got to go dark, bro. And
No, you're absolutely right.
you gotta step outside the boundaries. And I know that you're willing to do it for Marvel. You got to be willing to do it for Star Wars too.
See, they didn't really have to do it for Marvel. They could have kept it Sunshine and Rainbow.
Oh no, you needed
for the children.
You needed to do it for Marvel because it 100. But when you break that barrier and give us something like a Deadpool and Wolverine, to where things, you've shown us that you can go outside the boundaries.
Yeah, I mean they could do that. I mean, they proved it with Marvel with Deadpool, Wolverine, and then just the regular Marvel movies. There's a way to do it that you can meet the sides of both audiences, the people with teenagers and kids who want to take their kids to see these movies and still appeal to the adults. There's a fine line there that they can do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do that, but
I agree with anything from the Old Republic era would have to be pretty dark.
yeah, it's got to be dark.
But it can still be done in a way to where you can take your kid there if you wanted to.
Slap a TVMA 14 on that bad boy
Exactly.
and let these parents exercise parental control.
Yeah. And
give us what we want. It's not that hard.
Again, that's part of the problem right there.
I would say I prefer like if they go with the TV series for these things, but they got to do them right. Like the way they try to cram stuff in a hour 40, 2 hour thing, you can't do that, right?
Like you do a 16 episode animated series,
Right.
or you do an 8 episode or a 10 episode live action where every episode is an hour and a half long.
Yeah. And I think that's what they need. They need to understand who these characters are, because shout out to Rob. Yeah, you start doing new Jedi Academy, Mara Jade, all of this stuff. Disney will be like, okay, we'll do it. And then they'll try to introduce Mara Jade so fast. People will be like, wait, wait, what's going on here?
Well,
So
the
if you
fans
just
are going to
kinda-
know. Real fans
I'm
of
talking-
Star Wars will know.
The people Disney want to come watch. Like They know they have real fans by the
That's
balls with Star
another
Wars,
So
but they want to expand it and bring new fans in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's another problem. Disney is looking at Star Wars like it's Disney.
it's not.
Like, bro,
It-
they have an established fan base already, bro. Like,
Yeah.
You have
you gotta
to
cater
appeal
to them.
that fan base.
Yeah, you got to cater
Because
to
that fan base is literally the most toxic fan base in fan base
I'll say this.
history.
people have been coming to Disney World to see princesses and all that stuff. The minute you brought that Star Wars stuff over there, new people were coming to see.
Yes.
Just like you did when you made Avengers Campus. Like new people were coming. Like they're bypassing the magical kingdom and going straight to the stuff they want to see.
Yeah.
And if you're fumbling what they're holding precious, you're going to start seeing the decline and stuff. People not going to watch your stuff when you put it out. You know, shout out to Andor, great stuff.
Yeah, dude,
But-
Andor is probably the biggest win in Disney Star Wars history. And what sucks about it is, as great as that TV show is, we knew what was coming after it.
Yeah. But
And that was Rogue One.
no, but that's what I'm saying.
Nah,
The-
I
that doesn't
like
suck.
that though.
No,
The
it doesn't
prequel,
suck. I
like
love
if
that
you
movie.
can already establish characters, kind of what you're talking about, just going back, getting some things. Now, I don't know how you guys felt about Solo, as far as like let's introduce.
So it was a
We get a
ball.
I'm one of the
fumble.
rare people
Hold
that
on.
actually like.
Why-
I
it.
liked it, but I thought it was fumbled. It could have been better.
Right. What didn't you like about it?
I didn't like that I don't remember anything that happened during the movie.
Wow.
It's a nothing movie.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I can understand that. In the grand scheme of things, what happened in that movie don't really matter. But not to say I like the movie though.
Well, no, because they introduced characters in that movie who are a part of the Crimson Reign comic book storyline. And those characters and that storyline from Crimson Reign is some of the best storyline that you can read in the comic book.
Oh, for the chat,
Without a doubt.
the from the audience, he said he didn't like the fact that he really didn't take anything away from it. It was more like a movie that was just a movie, like nothing really mattered in that sense.
And Rob's got another good one in here is they fumbled. They wanted to distance themselves from the old trappings, i.e. the Skywalkers, the distinction between Jedi and Sith. The powers that be wanted their own characters. Yeah, but here's the thing about that.
That's
the,
a fact,
the characters are already established within the Star Wars world. You can create new characters within it for stuff that happened completely after the Skywalkers. You can create new stuff for that. I get that. There's a way to do it and there's a way to not do it. And Disney chose the path of the way to not do it properly.
That's fact.
And it's not that people don't like a strong, powerful, female lead. We love it. I mean, shit. Princess Leia is one of the. So she finished her Jedi training. She was an established Jedi who just so happened to carry the name Princess, but her leadership qualities was her lead into rebellion. That's really where her setting and her strengths were. So it's not that we're afraid of a strong female lead. It's don't shove the female lead down our throat the way you did. And also, we were led to believe in the impression that, what's his name? The stormtrooper. Finn was going to be the lead and who was going to be this powerful Jedi, because it was something we've never seen before.
Psych your balls.
But that never happened, right?
Right.
So that was another reason for everybody to be upset. Because everybody was like, oh, this is going to be about Finn because that's what was given to us in the previews and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, Finn, I can get behind Finn. This is really, really dope. Nah. Psych.
Yep.
And it's a shame that they did it that way to us.
Mm-hmm.
They messed up when J.J. Abrams left, and then they brought in the new guy and changed. Yes, absolutely right, Rob.
And then
Me and Rob.
back to JJ.
So for y'all who don't know, Rob
save us.
is our brother. He comes on the podcast when I talk anything Star Wars.
Official member of the council?
He is an official member of the council. He's an OG member of the council. And once a year, I do a giant Star Wars show. I didn't do it this year because I was so busy with interviews that I hadn't had a real time to sit down and put anything together. But I know the new Star Wars Visions just finished, so this may be a chance for me to, during this holiday break that's coming up, to sit down and write out my annual Star Wars show and just do it later than I normally would have. Normally I do it every May. And but yeah, if I do that, I'll have, Rob, I will have Bill, Frank D,
Amanda comes through, right?
Amanda, yep.
All the Star Wars.
All my Star Wars friends.
Hardcore.
Like so I like to think I'm smart on Star Wars until I met Rob and Amanda. And Frank D's come a long way.
You know what's funny about Frank D is I'm the one that took him to see his first Star Wars movie.
And then he just blasted off.
And what's funny again on that is, like, he would sit there and talk so much shit about Star Wars and how much he hated it. And then finally one day he shot me a message. He's like, "Hey, I changed my mind. I'm actually in love with Star Wars now." I was like,
welcome to the club.
welcome to the club, buddy. All right, we got time for one more question in here. Or it's a statement, rather. I feel like Disney is afraid of the pushback and a little too willing to change direction mid-trilogy, and the story kind of falls apart in a lot of the newer stuff.
Well, that goes back to the director changes, right?
Yes.
That had a bigger effect on it than people realized. And the vision getting messed up.
Yes.
And it just, you ended up with what you had, bro. And it's like, who greenlit this? Like, what? This is the movie y'all decided to give us. Like, I know there's source material that y'all could have drawn on and not gone with your own gut on this, bro. Like why?
So
why
I know
would
this
you
is
give us this?
controversial, but I actually enjoyed the Acolyte because I thought the positive direction that it was going in.
I thought you were going to say I like The Last Jedi. Because you're like, this is controversial. I'm just like, bro.
But no, the Acolyte, the direction they were trying to go with the Acolyte, I was thoroughly ready to enjoy.
It led to Plagueis. So
yeah, and that was something I was excited to happen. And like, it got a lot of like people just like shot it to shit for some reason. I'm like, it really wasn't that bad at the end of the day, but people just wanted to shit on it because it was different. It didn't include the Skywalkers, which
some of these things
you don't need the Skywalkers to tell a story in Star Wars.
But that's the thing, though. Like, I think we're in this age. We're the elders now, right? Because when the sequels came out, like some of the younger people were like, "Oh, this is cool. This is great. This is Star Wars." And all of the older people at that time are the prequels, episodes 1 through 3, when they came out. A lot of people crapped on those. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
I blame Jar Jar Binks for me shitting on Star Wars.
These suck. But if over time, like they went and granted they had to go and plug some of these holes with the Clone Wars and some of these animated series. But over time, the story made sense to where you go back and look at them now like, oh, I have backstory.
Yeah.
And oh, I have stuff that I can draw in, and now it makes more sense. You know what I mean? But
so, breaking news, our tech director here at CapeCon is a huge fan of The Last Jedi.
Oh my God.
He says it's rough, but it had a lot of fun and a lot of good ideas. So much so
professional trolling
that he got The Last Jedi tattooed on his upper left butt
I need
cheek.
to see it.
I don't need to see it if it's on his butt cheek.
If it's on your butt
I'll take his word for it.
I can only quote what was given to me, and that's what was given to me here.
You really have that on your butt cheek?
It's the whole
It was the whole no maneuver.
Rob said, "Ew."
It's one of those that, like, I know we're short on time, but just watching that movie, I understand it's like sci-fi, it's fictional, none of it's based, but like some of the things they were doing, like you're breaking whatever limits that you already created. Like, I'm assuming Jedi power, the Force, everything's cool, but when Princess or General Leia gets blown out into space after Kylo Ren blows that up, I'm just like, and here's me, I'm like, Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, passed away in real life. I'm like, this is how they write her out of the thing, right? And then all of a sudden she's like, bibbity boppity boo, and flies back into the
So,
ship. I'm like, what are we doing?
That goes back to me saying she was a Jedi and not to be fucked with like that. So is that out of the reason for her as a Jedi to do that? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
But
but
did it
y'all
make
could have.
sense?
Yeah, exactly. Y'all could have
Absolutely
made
not.
it make
But
sense.
I can at least explain it away.
Yes.
Exactly. If people would have
Where'd she
known that
get
she
that
was
from?
trained in the Force, because Luke completed her training.
What the fuck is
Like literally,
We just
she
making
gave
people
her
Jedis?
lightsaber to Rey. That was her lightsaber. That was Leia's lightsaber that she gave to Rey.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
But I don't
With
want to.
that-
I don't want to crash too much on that.
she is not a Skywalker. She is a Palpatine because she is the daughter of one of Palpatine's clones. At the end of the day, how do you think she was able to shoot Force lightning with never training in Force lightning? But with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna pass it over to my boy Mac. Let y'all know where you can find him.
So, like I said, the homie Mac, aka your boy. First of all, you want anything that we do here, the Dat Feeling Podcast Network Facebook page is where it'll be at. If you're looking for us over on YouTube, it's at DFPN Studios, and then Instagram as well. I think it's Dat Feeling Podcast Network as well. So, but we do host the Smoke Pit. We're over there. We do have the website as well, thedfpn.com. You can see all our stuff over there as well. We link to the YouTube channels, everything like that. So if you want a one-stop shop, thedfpn.com, and you'll see where we're all at. But that's me.
Same. TheDFPN.com. You can follow us there. We do the Smoke Pit together Fridays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We do No Gimmicks on the network, and we have so much weekly content, cutting edge heroes, Confessions of a Failed Family Man. Eat the Cake anime. I'm tired, so I don't want to make sure. I don't want.
We also have a
TTRPG. Shout out to
EJ and
the
Jen.
Awesome Zone. Yes,
and Rob, who all do that over there. Fantastic stuff with that. It's a very unique tabletop game. If you're into tabletop games and just watching people hanging out in different locations around the United States and just shooting the shit and playing a TTRPG,
it's such a great
definitely
story.
something to check out. And as always, I am the chairman of the United States Department of Nerds. You can find me on Facebook as USDN Podcast. My main page on Facebook is the United States Department of Nerds. I'm on YouTube as USDN Podcast. Instagram is USDN Podcast. Blue Sky, I'm on there as the USDN Chairman. Go give us all a follow. If I was y'all, I would go to thedfpn.com, bookmark that shit, and stay tuned because we have a lot of big things coming. And with that, y'all, we're out of here, CapeCon.
Thank y'all for having
y'all
us.
so much, Cape Girardeau. You're beautiful. We'll see you in April for AnimeCon.
It's cold here too.
Yes, it's cold.
Pack your
y'all.
long
Peace.
johns if you're coming out.